technique I'll do, it's called Kata guruma, it means shoulder. In Judo now, I thought they might change rules, but still haven't. You still can't grab the legs. That's not the worst thing. So when you do throws where you don't grab their legs, most of the time you end up past their legs, if you see what I mean. So like, just like, as if I come past his legs and throw, I'm past the, but throws, like wrestling's great. I'm not knocking wrestling, it's brilliant. But throws where you grab his leg, often, like, or whatever, even worse if you shoot a single or double if it's not great, which it usually isn't. So it's not the worst. It used to be, this throw, it used to literally be like a fireman's, which you probably know, where you turn through and throw forwards. But it's different now. With Judo, a lot of the throws, which I think is a problem for BJJ, you do turn your back, and then when it doesn't work, you have your back. I'm sure like everyone's experienced that. So this is a throw forwards now with a new way of doing it, which isn't a bad thing, because if you miss it, you're not going to get your back taken. So you can do this right versus right, or right versus left. I'll show it right versus left to start, because it's just a bit easier to learn it. In Judo, or any sort of grappling really, sorry if it sounds like I'm teaching you something, but I will just go step by step. Stand, if you're right-handed, stand with your right foot forward. It's not boxing, it's not MMA. The reason is it's less space to turn and you're much less vulnerable, which you'll see when we do a bit of gripping later. So, to start with, I'll be right-handed and he'll be left-handed. So he's gripping my lapel, I'm going to come over the top of his arm and grab his lapel. I'm going to fall into that weird position that we just did, where my bum's on the ground. I'm going to land with this foot slightly past his. So this is a position I'm going to land in. I'll come down. My left hand comes across and grips his left sleeve like we're shaking hands. Is anyone left-handed?
I am.
That's alright, that's barely anyone. I'll come and just show you.
I'll do it that way.
I won't show you both ways.
God, you are not selling on
Kick him out.
So this comes across like to the other arm like we're shaking hands. I fall in that position, my head goes down his armpit. So I fall into this position here, and then from there, to start with just pulling back down. And you can see you land. You're not in the best position, but you're still on the side. You're still in quite. If you want to come into side control or tie his arm off. But we'll just look at the throw first. Just the basic throw before we think about more. So I land in the weird position, like hurdle step, with my right foot past his. This hand on his lapel is coming across, head in his armpit. Hold to there, pulling back. With, and we'll stop and come back. Okay, with this hand in Judo, with any throw with what they call kazushi, which means breaking balance, it really, you just move his weight off from his centre line. It is that simple. You do that best by moving his head on whichever arm you have a hold of. So when I do it, this is going to grip quite high by his collarbone, so his head can get dragged. Because if I'm gripping really low, not near his head, his head don't move when I drag. But if I grip high up by his collarbone, when I drag, his head will come down. Especially, but you don't have to be strong to do that. You just need to have some body weight, even if it's not a lot. And this hand is just going to come outwards again, so he's there. And he won't be able to step to steady himself because my body's there in the way. So all in one, quite high, grip across like we're shaking hands as I drop. I'll take him backwards. Do you want to see one more before you overgo? Yeah. It's a weird technique, it's so good, it's so simple as well. Like I've done this at like jiu-jitsu clubs, it's quite safe, and if people want to start standing with me, then I'll teach it them after, so oh, what are you doing? And literally straight away they can pretty much do it. So gripping quite high, across with the left hand, fall into there, and you can see it's quite a nice position to land it.
What's this called, Lachlan?
This is called Kata guruma. Some people call it lats, after a Belgian guy called Lats who kind of invented it. Yeah, have a go, and if you're left-handed, do it left-handed with them being right. So get your partners to stand opposite stance. But a massive, like, same when you're standing on the ground, like your head is at fifth length. So you use it as much as you can, and your neck's quite strong through its small range. So when I throw, I'm trying to get my head in this gap. And I'm literally picking up with my head and take loads of his weight. And that's what I'm aiming to do. Because, well, it's a lot easier to throw someone when you've taken 50 kilos of their weight off or whatever. So as I come in, I'm not mixing completely with my head and just dragging him back. My head is going right in this armpit. So as I come in, I'm there. And a lot of the time when you do it, like when you're actually fighting someone that's being more live, you miss that. So you might then go to do it and you kind of end up heading them or something, and it'll still probably work, might wind him a bit. So when you do it, you need to get the back of your head or your neck right in his armpit. As you land, that's the position. So when it's in there, going backwards. The other thing to add on now is, again, it's around Kazushi, but it sounds dead simple. When you want to take him one way, you have to get a bit of a reaction off him. So for this, one of the reasons we're outside is we just, with the arm, just put a bit of weight through and pull him a little bit forwards, because naturally his reaction is then going to be to pull to that back corner where I don't want him to go. Sorry, where I do want him to go, where he don't want to go. So it's literally you just pull him in a bit and tuck your elbow into your side, as well as putting your head in the armpit. So it's there, and that sets it up, and it seems really small. Also, your arm bends, so you're closer to him. It's a lot easier to do this throw when my arm is bent and I'm close to him than when I'm miles away, especially if his arm's really stiff and hard to get past. So with this setup, you also get past a really stiff arm. So you bend it in there, backwards. So have a little go at that, head in properly, and so when this left arm, like a few people have asked, do I take like a little cheat step before this comes in, or just to close distance in? Normally I will, but that's like, it doesn't have to be every time. Because the whole idea with pulling this arm down is that I am close to him, so I could not take that and then just come straight back and take him over. But if I'm a bit further away and I can feel that, I probably will a little step as I come in. So to answer that, sometimes it just depends how close I am to him. With this arm, when it comes down, it's not massively important, but try and have your elbow on top of his, or almost your forearm, this side of your elbow, on the crease of his elbow. Because you can even if you were fighting someone standing up a bit left through right, and I'm putting weight through him there, it'll tire him out so much, yeah, it'll let go. You just use your body weight, you don't have to use strength all the time. If your elbow comes too far through, you just can't exert the same pressure through that arm. So it's bending his arm there through that crease, and I'm close to him. And then if I want to step a little bit closer, I can. We'll look at actual setup now for left v right, and look at a little bit, not gripping, but couple ideas. So first one, just as we were, feeding in to get this grip. The problem with It's a lot easier to grab a lapel if you come across collar because you've got all 4 fingers instead of just the thumb to grab it with, and it folds this way and it makes it less awkward. And when you grip a lapel, I'm sure you know anyway, but you don't grip it with your thumb, not like a Lego man. You grip it with these 2 fingers, and it's a bit looser and it's much stronger and it doesn't come out. So you feed across. The problem with it is if he grips this sleeve, because it's basically a left turn this. It's my left shoulder that turns. And with all judo, the way to stop somebody turning is to have a hand on the side with the shoulder that's leading. I'm sorry if that seems like a long contrived sentence, but so if he's right-handed and I have a hand even just on here, he wants to turn in for any right-handed throw, I'll block him with that or that. Or if I've got his sleeve off, he can't turn because that's on there. Same if it's right v left. You've got left. And he's turning. If I've got a hand on the side of the lead shoulder, whatever that is, it's a lot harder for him to turn, which is why I just can't turn in on people. So if I'm feeding this hand in to get hold, which is what I do 9 times out of 10 to be honest, the problem is when they grab that sleeve. So if somebody does feed on you, do that. The nice thing about gis in jiu-jitsu is they're so small. So it's a lot easier to break it off just by bending your arm. So ideally, if you feed on quick, that's the best way. I know a lot of you grip really slowly. But feed on quick, that's the best way. If they grab it this time, as we feed on, we're going to bend this so it's as tight as it will come. And then yeah, this is a bit heavier than an old man like that. But that'll come off. If it doesn't come off as you've pulled it up, just rip it back. But you should be able to just break it by ripping it up and bending your arm. There's not much sleeve for them to grab, especially with these things you guys wear. So this time, feed on, pull your hand up. Then the next step from here, we'll just add it all in, is we're going to pretend we're going to grip his sleeve. And what people do is they pull that arm back. And that perfectly sets him up towards that back corner there. So, because this is where you end up. And we'll look at right v right, don't worry. But when you're left v right, you always end up one over, one under. And under's great for other things. For this sort of probably best it over. But when I go grab his sleeve, you'll pull it away. Or you might kind of bring it in for a bit, make it a bit awkward. Eventually, we'll pull it back. So I'll go. So all together, I'm going to feed in, he grabs it, pull the arm up, pretend I'm throw it back that way. But just slow it down at the start and feel how hard it is to keep that grip when you bend the hand up. If it comes over the top, which they probably will with jiu-jitsu, it might be different. If they do that, you can just bring your gi over the top like you're doing a kind of figure of 8, and if it don't come off, just rip it back, and then same thing. But it's just the idea of it. So don't let them grab that left sleeve, because you need it to have a go around. Push you backwards. If you're on this,
probably just hanging out.
Does I keep it on the hand? So you feel
it just means breaking balance. It just means like a centre of balance. That's why it has to step. It won't be able to step. If you miss it, grab his leg. I do push down for a reaction, but when I press down, like you have to release as well, or you won't get it. So I pull, this presses down, and then it releases as I go. This hand has to come on, because then I pull him back down. So it's press release, and it'll come back down. And again, all I do with Kazushi is just that his weight comes past the centre line. So if you're not allowed to move your legs, as I press, release and pull him down, that'll bring him over. Obviously, he is allowed to move his legs, which is why I put my body in the way and it'll go. So that's the reaction you use. So it's almost like it's like 1, 2, 3. Just to a good point, like question you asked. It's the same principle that stops you, right? So you can feed and they'll grab it. Maybe they won't grab it sometimes, but if they know you do it, they might put their hand on this here, which is the same. It's the exact same problem. Problem is this side, which needs to turn, is getting blocked. Same way, because it is same way it'd be a problem if I wanted to do another throw. This arm is in there. I can't turn. So, so I have to get rid of the arm. That's a problem. There's no like way. Well, I can't get past that without. So this time they put their hand on there, which is a great way to defend it. The way I like to get past it is by rolling the hand. So my hand comes on his palm. Some people do this. I like to grab the palm and I turn it off and push it down. When you do that, the strongest place for it, even though you guys feel like it's strong when it's straight and really stiff, the straighter the arm, the weaker it is and the easier it is to break off. So if his arm's really bent, it's really hard for me to do this. So to do it, I lean back, I grab his hand and I roll it off. Because it's saying like if you just keep hold of this, I lean back, it's really easy to turn it. So yeah, so this time, partner defend it by going like 2 collars, which is a great way to defend everything because it blocks 2 shoulders. So always has that problem. You just lean back and we roll it off, and then once it's off, last thing, like we won't do it this way. You see a lot in judo. Looks a bit more like this when we do it right in a second. This throw done to that angle, so people turn and pull that way. But the reason I don't think it's that relevant is because almost everyone in jiu-jitsu, not just because of the game and the rules change everything, including the stance, people are lower and the hips are further back. The main reason for that is just because you can grab the legs. So if someone's allowed to grab your legs, you will be in a more of a wrestling posture. When someone's in that posture, their weight is normally sitting back. So it's very unlikely that someone's going to press into you enough with their hips high enough that you can drop under and take them that way. So that's why I teach you this way for jiu-jitsu. So this time, their hands on, I lean back, I roll it off. You can see, like, I say get the head in that, my head, probably for none of them, my head wasn't even touching it. So don't stress about that too much, just aim for it. So have a go at that.
Cheers, lads. So
His right hand is on my knee there. So you're not able to get that leg the same if he's just straddling the sleeve. Just stick it, I'll keep that off for now. It looks slightly different because as I come through, it's there. And it's a little bit, I don't know, it's more grippy. I'd say that much definitely. Left v right if he's right and I'm left. By the time just ends up one being inside, one person, and you kind of fight with the sleeve a bit. For right v right, if both hands are on, it's 50-50 as kind of far as the fight goes. But if I can take this hand off, so I've got 2 hands and he might have 1 arm on, it's definitely 70-30 to me at least, if not more. The hard part is getting to that position. So same problem we looked at before. if he's blocking the shoulder I want to come forward with, I can't attack. So I want to take this off. I'm not going to take it off the same way as before. The reason being, if I take this hand off his sleeve, there's nothing to block him turning right-handed. So if I let go with this like I'm going to go and roll it, as slowly as I let go, he turns in for a technique. I've got nothing to stop him. There's no lines of defence, so that's no good for this right view right. What I'm going to do instead is, you can probably best off pistol in it, to be honest, if you can. But you can pocket over the top, or put your thumb in and take a really strong grip. But don't worry so much about taking this hand off, it's not the danger. The danger is maybe if he could turn left, maybe it would be a danger, but it's much less likely. I'm going to put my thumb in his gi so I can get a good pistol. Because it's hard, you feel like you're faffing about to get a pistol when we're here, so I'll put my thumb in his gi so I can pistol it, and it pulls it down. Even better if you've got a judo gi because they're massive, you can get a great pistol, but even on this it's fine. Then from there, I'm going to take his grip off with two hands. So I'll come on top of the wrist and I'll lean back. Again, a bit of a Steven Seagal move, but I lean back and I take his grip off. He'll keep hold of my sleeve because he won't want to let go of any grips I haven't forced him to. So I'm going to go thumb in, lean back and snap it off. So now we're 50-50. We're not, because my grip's better than his. What I'm going to do from it, you could bend the arm to snap it off, it's a bit more difficult. What I like to do is, I angle off to this side, I put my wrist on top of his wrist and I snap my arm back. And I place my arm on his gi. So I'll show that again. And then I'm dominating there in terms of the gripping. It's just one way, there are loads of ways. This is quite simple and it really works. So I can't let go with this arm because he'll throw me. So my thumb comes in, I pistol his gi, I lean back and I snap it off. Sorry, it's alright. So then I move around to the left because it's much easier to like bench press his arm over here so my wrist is on top of his, than it is if I stand in front of him and I try and like chest fly it over, just how your body works. So thumb in, pistol, lean back and snap off, and move out to the side. I mean, it might seem like I'm doing Kata, but it does work. Then my wrist comes on his, so I can push down with my arm and snap my arm back. He cannot keep that. There's no way once I'm there he'll keep it, even if he's a freak, cheap and strong. Then I'll come back and put my arm on his gi. I want to be in front of him because it makes the throw we're about to do easier. Once we're there, come back into the throw ready. I know there's a lot of steps, but better if I just show it all. This is 50-50. Thumb in pistol, snap it off. Over to the side to snap that off. Like pushing, sorry it's horrible isn't it? You've got cold fingers that I'm doing that to. It's all right. I pull my arm back, then I can come back here. And no one will know what to do if you do that to them. They'll be there out gripped and I'll just pull back to it. Do you want to see it again?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Here we go. Just thumb in. Back. And then from there, technique is literally done. Fucking on the ball.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still here. It's just a lot of steps.
Come in. So we fake back in the sleeve. For right-handers, it's taking his grips off. I'm going to do, just because that throw is quite hard to do when you're in the sleeve. So we're going to do a different throw, which is a really simple throw, but just so you've got something else for the same grip you can. The throw's called a Seoi Nage. I don't know what you'd call it. But it just means major out of the throw. We'll do it often the whole gripping sequence. Seoi Nage is just your left foot steps past. The kazushi is its arm is pulled over this to this corner, and his head is moved over, and then this leg sweeps in, and that's the throw. Again, it's a good throw for BJJ for two reasons. First reason is it's a backwards throw, and you're sitting your way backwards. So like, I'm not, to turn this way is going to be hard, or to come to the back and throw this way would be quite easy, this way it's back. The second reason it's good is like, I can come in between his legs and throw backwards, then I'll land in his guard. Same if I like kick round and touch. Like, it's not really a great position to land in, to be honest. Even if you got, maybe you get points for the throw, but like you're trying to win and actually submit on it. So if we're on the outside of his legs, when we're throwing him, he'll land quite easily in a scarf hold or side control, probably land in a scarf hold from there. We're going to do it right view right to start with. This time with different shoulder leads. I know it might be a bit confusing because they're both. With Kata guruma, even though it's off a right-handed grip, you were leading with the left shoulder, so this was the problem. With Seoi Nage, the right shoulder's leading, which is why if you let go completely with this arm, it'll be really easy to turn in. You still want to take his hands off though, because why would you not be in the best position you can? So same again, thumb in, pistol it. When you break a pistol, I know a lot of your posture's down here anyway, but you want to just push your chest up a bit, just because it makes it really easy to, like, you can't really keep hold of it if I lean back. Try and use your body weight rather than just brute strength. That's coming from me, all I use is brute strength. Come to the side and snap it off. The angle's really good for a Seoi Nage already. You can either, so it's stepping with the left and the right foot's pointing the toe and sweeping this leg. You can either grab the top of the head or you can grab cross collar, which I think most people like anyway. It's easy to grab cross collar. So once I've done the sequence, the hands push down, the action reaction I spoke about earlier, the kazushi's there, and just, right. Same principles, like you want to pass both his arms, and you want to get a reaction, then you want to move his head and whichever sleeve you have hold of. That is literally as much as I can simplify it, I'm sorry if like you're still thinking about it. So he's got all the two hands, thumb in pistol, bring the prop over to the side, and then the kazushi, I let it free, hand, head, point the toe. I'll sweep the leg fairly low down, probably around calf on calf, any higher, even if you're not going to get counted from that gripping situation because you don't have any hands on you. But if it was a bit more 50-50 and that was too high, you would just step back, 1-1, take with his arms. A little bit different this time, so before, now we're turning against the left hander, but with the Kata guruma, it was the left shoulder that bled in. This time it's more the right shoulder, as most right-handed throws are, especially to the front, or even this to the back. If you can block this shoulder, I can't do the technique. So if I was outside his arm, just block me, so I don't throw it, I won't do it. I can't throw him there, but if I'm inside his arm, I can't throw him there. So this is the problem. I need two hands on him, but just for ways around this. So problem arms here. First way is to come inside and to come high, and then we're just going to shrug. If you just keep hold of it, we're just going to shrug so that our shoulder is inside his. If his arm's on my shoulder, I can't turn. And this isn't 100% me in control. I just kind of shrug underneath so that my shoulder is free. Then what I do from there As I come forward, the same as I did before, so my left then my right, this arm pulls over, this is going to push his head over that leg. You're probably going to have to hop when you do this throw. So I step with my left throwing, you won't go straight away, hop forwards. You can, you need to be careful, don't like buckle anyone's knees. But if you aim for just the back of the knee or slightly higher, you can, you know, like when you're, like if you put your knee in the back of something like it has to bend, a little bit like that. So this is the problem. I shrug just so my shoulder is underneath it, then I step with my left foot and then my right. I'll probably have to hop to finish, and just like, because it's good practice, without landing on him, like don't be a full spaz about it, just land him in a scarf or around there. You can land on him if you're fighting him, but like, if you land on someone 20 times, so again, this is from the inside arm. We just shrug under a little bit, step with the left, then the right, and then you're going to have to hop with that. You get Kazushi in the hop. You probably won't be able to step far enough to not have to hop. Just quicker, so shrug inside, step, and I'll land there. But it's getting past the arm, so have a go at that. You just shrug your shoulder inside, and it's not a problem anymore. Have a go.
It's not, I didn't get it.
And we're doing the Kata guruma, we were on the outside. You can do this same throw from here. Again, the problem is this arm, as it was before. We won't spend too long on it. But the same way as before, when you crumple your arm in, you do the same thing, but then instead of this time letting him out and throw him with the Kata guruma, you put your arm in and you step and just hop this way. Just do a couple of those, just feel it. It's just, the idea is you have to get past his arm blocking your strong side. So this time from the outside, the elbow is going to fold his arm in, and I swing his leg there. So that's how I'm beating it this way. So have a go at that. It's just one throw. Before you're on the inside and you're shoving it up, this time you're on the outside and you're just folding it in. And it works with, if you've got the threat that way and he doesn't like it, maybe he's going to try and free himself. That's when you can have a guruma. So you can link them together quite nicely. I'll just do the Osoko for now. To fully break him up, which is a bit different to the Kazushi from the other way. We looked at two different throws. They go two different ways, which is good, even though they're both to the back. One's this corner, one's this corner. For right-handers, we looked at beating this arm with my little Steven Seagal Kata sequence that does actually work. Throw that, or bring that, and then come back to the Kata guruma. And for left-handers, we looked at freeing that, and then you can take him back this way. So we beat this arm because he doesn't have hold of it. If he's on there, we look to take him off that way. And then for the Osoto, this arm isn't the problem. This is because we go to the other side. So we looked at folding him up or shoving him inside. So I'll just ask you a question actually about his stance. So I stand with my right foot forward, which to when I teach at BJJ, because a lot of people do boxing or MMA, and if you stood like orthodox, your left foot would be forward. But that's not right for Judo, because if you're doing the throwing, you can teach yourself to be right or left-handed. You don't have to be, like I am right-handed and I fight left-handed. Because I turn with my right shoulder first, I'm already halfway in. So if I was turning for a throw, I'm already halfway in. I'm stood there, it's less time. If I'm stood with my left foot forward, or I'm stood square, it's an extra step. Also, for throws to the front, if he's stood square, so if his right foot's not forward, if he's right-handed, or left foot if he's left-handed, it's much easier for me to be off balance. Like pulling forwards just with my hands, the kazushi's really easy. If his right foot is forwards, it's much harder, it's much more on balance. So that's why we stand like that. I was going to say, like, I don't know got any judo questions. I know you were keen on Tai Toshi.
Yeah, I want to see kind of like your best setups for your Tai Toshi.
Yeah.
Or even like how you chain other moves to get them into position to hit Tai Toshi.
Yeah. So I do drop Tai Toshi,
Yeah.
which is a little different to standing Tai Toshi.
To be fair, it's one of the ones we've covered down here quite a bit
The
as well.
drop or standing.
Yeah, the drop.
Yeah, I like the drop. I think it's easier. I think if you're not as good at judo, you can do it, which is why I do it. The thing for this is, the drop, I want him to be, I'm thinking which way is best for me to do. Or the guy had hip surgery 8 weeks ago. That's why I've not done any rolling. It's not because I'm scared and none of it works. Although, you know, it comes across that way. So I want him to be coming in this direction. And as that foot steps, that's when I'm dropping it. Left feet right. Again, you can do it inside or outside. Because you drop, it's not too important as long as the head comes down. I kind of use him gripping my sleeve. People don't like letting go of the sleeve. So I pull this kind of into the side of me. And I just kind of step around. So just that. Best way to describe it is almost like a skip. You know, right foot down, skip the left foot round, making a big circle to the right. And for a split second, it makes him heavy. So I'll just do it. So I drag him round. And it's the spin. If you don't get the spin, again, this is hard as well because I have done it where there I'm holding my sleeve. I do this, it's a bit of a risk. As I go to turn, it sucks my sleeve in and I'm off balance. So you really have to get moving. Again, the Kata guruma, I do use this with the Kata guruma because the threat to that side just distracts him. So he's worried about that. And then as I bring him round, I put my leg out. It's the circular movement. It's harder right v right than left v right, I think. But it still works. Really, I would, in a similar way, try and have him out gripped. Might even do it cross collar. And there I'd probably look at just moving his back leg out of the way. It's more of a turn because of his stance. But I wouldn't really knock that and drop in. You could to square him up. It's hard. I do it more left v right. Typically, someone would say for right v right, if you stand right, you either want to turn further through and drop in there when it's over, or a less circular version. As if that hands off, I might knock that up so it squares him up a bit, then drop in. You don't have to be good at the coaching either. That throws coaching. I would say would just, if you stand right, but so just knock it back enough to make him a bit more left-handed. Because it's then less of a turn for me to drop. So that's how I do that. I can't pretend it works every time.
Do you ever use the drop Seoi sideways? Yeah, drop Tai Toshi sideways.
Yeah, I have done sideways. When I do that, again, it's typically left v right. It's annoying, like, I wish every technique worked equally against right and left-handed, but that's just not the case. And the nicest ones I've done are like this. It's kind of skipping to the side, and as it follows me, I kind of drop it that way. But you have to get them to follow. A lot of the time they do. A lot of the time they throw you as well when you skip. So I've done it a few times. where I've wanted them to do this, like happened against an Italian guy who was on fire. He just came 5th at the Olympics. I fought him in Austria this year, and he started skipping. And I was like, I wouldn't come up games with this exact throw, this way of doing it. And you wait for him to be a bit heavy, and then I drop on that. And as I was skipping, I was like, yes, I've got him. I saw that one skip and he fell down. He literally beat me in about 5 seconds. Mortified. So bad. But yeah, so there's a bit of risk to it, but if you can get him skipping that way, it's great.
When you said you get it on the step, do you mean when he lifts his foot up, when he plants it down, that's when you go?
Yeah, I aim to. But sometimes, so if we're really slow, that would be kind of where I aim. Sometimes I hit it before, as his weight isn't on his foot, and it's even nicer. But that's just by accident, I can't pretend that's by design. So as his foot's not up, I'll catch it, and he'll go over really clean.
So in your head, when you're trying to hit this, when you decide you're going Tai Tashi, are you looking for the right foot movement for his leg to be off the floor, or do you just hit it and just fucking follow through? And
same as both. Sorry if I'm random, like I've kind of not said these thoughts out in my head before out loud. So yeah, it's a serve, but I kind of want his weight on there to step, and if it's to the side, I want his there. So I want him to step. You can't do it when stood still, and they'll just turn you back. Yeah, and a lot.
So you wouldn't even go for it then? If you didn't have the right off balance, you wouldn't entertain it?
No. I have lost fights because I go for this and get countered when they're not moving. Like it'll be, so you get penalties in judo. So say I've got 2, you lose if you have 3 against you. I've got 2 against me and they're like kind of getting more attacks. And I'm like, fuck's sake, I've just got to put a throw in here. And I dive in for this when they're not moving. And all the time you're there and they'll kind of just wheel it on your side and make it a Mazari, which is a score. And I've lost fights because of that. So you don't want to go for it in desperation, which is a big talk coming from me, goes for it in desperation. You want him moving, you want that right foot to move forward as right left-handed. We can go if you want, unless... Okay, go on out, have a little go, just skip to the side slowly or pull them round to your left. And the throw is you keep your forward and your left knee on your right leg. Kind of have it so your knee comes down, don't have your knee straight in case I'm going to go straight through it. If you just want to slowly feel it,
Yeah, go on.
I foot around in a big circle, so I kind of come onto this one and then skip round. It's almost like a hop on this as well. And the momentum of this leg when you're in the circle, so it like pulls them out round and then from behind. You know, people want to see this and they're like, I've never seen you move that last in your life. But that's what I aim to do. So it doesn't really matter how you do it, but a lot of time when you see people do it, it's right foot steps forward, and left foot comes out round in a big circle. And the weight of that kind of like, if that makes sense.
On the hand movement, are you pushing this and pulling when you do the step, or you just pulling?
I'm just using my body weight, to be honest. Like a lot of it isn't about your body at all. I probably am pulling a bit, especially with the sleeve hand. That's mostly just so they don't pull my arm straight, because that's a terrible position to turn from. Maybe this arm, if I was doing it right. So I pull with this a bit. This doesn't matter too much until when I drop, and then pull it. I want to put this arm in front of my body. I don't want to drop with this arm behind, because then he will be behind. So if I can pull it, so I can actually see my own hands, which is the case with most forward techniques, which is one of the reasons they're a bit harder, because you can't do that with brute strength. You can't pull a fully grown man like that. You have to time it a little bit. So yeah, this pulls and then knees are in front of my face. Anything else on that, or anything else?
Don't use in jiu-jitsu. Any techniques that you just trash.
Yeah, there is.
In jiu-jitsu.
Like I don't. The techniques I do actually aren't bad for jiu-jitsu. So I do a lot of that. I don't. Like you can get points for takedowns, like you say, like when you hook inside the legs and go back, you literally land in a guard, so they're not great. I think the worst for jiu-jitsu are things like Seoi Nage, or even Seoi Nage. They're great techniques, but turn right. I'll get you to just stand square. Just like Seoi Nage is in there, and I throw it over the top.
You will recognise this one.
Yeah.
You won't be seeing it again.
Turn that way. If you get it, it's brilliant, and well, you just. I think you have to be quite good to do them. So, if I was against somebody in like a jiu-jitsu match who has done a lot of judo, I probably wouldn't say that. You could say the same thing about taitoshi. Like when you turn your back, you let it come back and it doesn't work, and you can kind of just sit there on it or counter me, just fall straight into a burnout, or just fall into a back take. So if throws where you turn your back and drop, aren't great. The ones where you turn your back and you're standing aren't so bad. I mean, they're all good. If you can do them, they're all great. But things like Uchimata, right? You're still turning your back, but it's going to be harder for him to take you back. Even if it goes wrong, you can maybe come out. But when you drop to your knees, again, like I'm giving you the big talk, I always just drop to my knees. But if you can not, it's probably better. Yeah. You've definitely taught that throw, haven't you? That's why.
I've not taught it to him, I do it on it quite a lot.
If he's going to give it us, yeah, just slowly as a drop. It would be like, as I was saying, to block the strongest shoulder. And if I can control that sleeve, so pull the sleeve into me, and as he turns it, kind of block it. And then as we fall, I can fall into whatever, down there, or just take his back. I mean, if they do Maroxi, maybe they'll fall with their arm up, which is like Christmas, isn't it? But yeah, it would be something to block the strong side. Just the exact things we went through before that you don't want to happen. And then as he dropped in, I was heavy through it. Yeah, you can already see he don't want to drop anyway. But if he did, he's not going to throw. And then I can either come on onto the arm or just take the back or whatever.
That's that then, Phil. That's the end of...
Together. But if I was certain about that last one we did where I fold his arms in and he pulls that leg back, he'll probably let go with this arm and then from there to the back. That's one way. Or the other way is, if he knows I do a lot of Kata guruma, he might stand with this leg back anyway, and that squares him up because he's so worried about the Kata guruma. So then it's easier for me to get on that leg and get closer to me. So let's have them together. Similar right v right, but much harder. It'll just be a case of, like, if he brings that leg back a lot, then I might go for the Kata guruma there.
So you fundamentally always working on breaking grips before you think of any moves, or do you sometimes just like insurance?
Like you can throw it off the grip, like when we start, he doesn't grab my sleeve and I'm there, I might just go straight for the throw. But you can't throw someone normally unless your grip is better than theirs, unless it's a bit of a trick, or at least it's a grip you're comfortable from. Like if we're completely 50-50, it's a lot harder for me to throw someone than if we're in a position like this. Or if we're left v right, it'll be completely sort of evenly matched in this grip. It's a lot harder than if his sleeve's in close to me, which I'm winning, or I've got a lot of weight through that, which I like. I will always think about the grips first, and that's why. It's hard to break someone's balance. If the grips aren't good, and they've got a hand on the shoulder you're looking to turn with, you can't turn.
Where would you go from Kata guruma if it didn't work? When you committed in and you stood up?
Yeah, so if it didn't work, better. So you're better off doing this than nothing. Well, first thing you can do, if it doesn't work, is if you really want, you could grab the leg and bring him over. And he might put his arm down. It might be a bit of a scramble. But I wouldn't aim for that ever, because you won't pull it over the back of you enough, as if you got the sleeve. What I do is I do like a, have you ever seen like a crocodile kill something with his death roll? Kind of like that, but the position at the end isn't great. So if I fall and it doesn't quite work, I'll kind of keep hooked on, let roll on the top of him, which is fine in judo. But again, that's where like different games, it's not really that good a position to land in. It's kind of in front of you, your head's down. It's not great.
That'd be a one in judo.
In judo, that's it, like you'd be over, yeah, you've won.
Could you stop on your back, belly up, and then go Kazakatame with that? Stopping halfway through the roll.
As in,
But when you do that gator roll, if
Yeah.
you stop with your belly up,
Instead of rolling all the way through.
could you?
you kind of have to roll
Or
all the
go
way
keep
through
rolling.
and go. Like I see what you're saying when his back's down, but the momentum of you and him, the amount of force you've had to put in to that, like you've landed, and you do kind of just have to roll,
Yeah.
and they'll just keep rolling. I just don't, more likely, that won't happen, and they'll block you by grabbing your sleeve or putting an arm on there, and then you're trapped and you miss it. In which case, if you can, either stand up or just come down and pull guard, which I've actually done in judo, which gets you a shield against you, but it's better. You're better off, if you were to miss it, if he can turn you like a big stick, that's terrible. So, if you miss it, you're out there. If you just fold his arm and sort of come into a butterfly guard or something, you're a bit better off. So yeah, either of those.
Bit of an open question, but how would you utilise your game, your judo techniques against like someone that's heavy like wrestling? So you know, like single leg, body
Yeah,
hooks, underhooks, overhook.
So a lot of the time, if people do more wrestling, even if it's no gi, like if they are quite low and the legs are far back, which is quite good. I think that they're going to run fire ones anyway. You kind of have to match the posture a bit. A lot of the time some people are good at it, but most people aren't. So they come in to shoot a double or a single and it's not great. You can kind of take the back. I might do like a sumigation or something. I don't know if you've ever done it. Because their posture's so broken. So if you're in a gi, and they're quite wrestly, especially if you just don't let them have your legs. Come over around the back, they're in a terrible position. If someone's over your back like this, I don't think you just manhandle it. Even if you're short like me, you'll go it. So yeah, either throws to the back, because of the way they stood, or coming over the back. And if people shoot bad singles or doubles, which they do all the time, the sumigation, or even you can just like guillotine them. Just don't stand there. Put your hips too far high, like a lemon, and let them hit your legs.
Yeah, that's interesting. So instead of like sprawling or stuffing the head, you want the leg inside and grabbing over the top of the belt. And
Yeah. But you still do sprawl.
Yeah.
Like you're not letting them do it.
Yeah, of course.
But and you I'm not going like fully sprawling if I can get that. Especially if I can get it turned around. Especially if this arm can come underneath in some form as well. And it is quite easy to throw him. Yeah, that's. Yeah, and again, it's easier in a gi than no gi. Yeah. Also, if you're in a gi, I'm proper rambling on now, but if you're in a gi and you like have a sleeve, you can't shoot a single or double anyway, because you've gripped him. So that's why gripping's so big in judo. You can't, obviously that's a lot harder if you're just hand fighting or something. I admit that. But in a gi, like judo's great. That's why it looks different as well. Because you can't grab the legs in judo now, so it is more upright, your hips further forward, which is great because the throws look better as more stand-up throws. I know a lot of grappling people don't like it because it's less like almost realistic to a fight. But when I can grab legs, yeah, it changes it. It does change it. I won't pretend that it's like a magic trick and judo works on everything because it don't, but it does with it. God, I'm so out of breath. I mean, I just do the throws and no-gi that I'm good at anyway in gi. So I just think if you're good at throw, you're good at it. Transferable. Guruma is transferable, but only if you do it as a fireman's. Throw is a good from a clinch transferable. Back, coast over, or even throws to the front. If you can get like a good overlook or something like Uchimata, they're pretty good. I find. I think foot sweeps are really transferable. Foot sweeps are hard because you have to learn timing to get good at it. Again, it's a big talk from me, my timing shit, but just simple sweeps like Sasai, which is that kind of put the chest on the hook and use that. I think that's really good no-gi. Again, you still have to turn your back. Turning your back is even more risky no-gi because you just slip off them. Yeah, so that was a bit of a shit answer. Just and foot sweeps are great. They just take time. Everything takes time to get